Hi Cancer, welcome to your December 2020 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So, wow, I'm really looking forward to December for everybody. And you probably, if you listen to other astrologers or energy readers, they have talked about December, the event, and all of that good stuff. And I actually have been doing the Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius videos, and I can't remember if I've done it for Cancer. I've done like probably about 8 of them so far at the time of this recording. So if you're interested in more in-depth information on that, and this is going to be a conjunction that occurs at the time of the winter solstice on December 21st, you can just type it into my channel, or yeah, I guess that would be the best way to see if I've done it. I know it's like if I think about it, I will link it if I've done it. I just can't remember because I've kind of did a few and then started doing more topical stuff for the current times. And so this for you is happening in your 8th house, and that is going to be more of a story come the latter part of January and February of 2021, when we have the sun going into Aquarius and other planets as well. So the story for December is actually a concentration of energy in your 6th house, which is a house of health, work, and your daily routine. And this is the house that Virgo rules in the universal chart. So it's an earth house, and it's very practical. And typically, I might say, wow, really exciting, huh? But for Cancer, I think that it is actually very harmonious because Virgo is a sign that is compatible with you. And even though you happen to have Sag as your 6th house, and Sag isn't in conjunction, it's 150 degrees from Cancer and a little bit awkward, I do think that this particular concentration of transits can be good for Cancers because you tend to really resonate with this area of life. You rule the 4th house of home and family, and the 6th house can be, how do you organize your time? And so that can be very harmonious with you being this area of the home front. And so, especially if you're working from home, the 6th house, I say that the 6th house is work because it's also about that. So let's say you're looking for work. This could be the month that, even though this is a holiday season, that you are able to attract a new job. So as the month begins, the sun is already in this sector, the 6th house, and Mercury goes into Sagittarius, and that is the 6th house. And by the way, I just want to say that the energy of Sagittarius in general is much lighter, and I would say a lot more hopeful than Scorpio. And nothing against Scorpio time or Scorpio people, but Scorpio is a water sign, and it's very into the shadow work, the psyche, what lies beneath. And while that is definitely important and is part of our advancement as spiritual beings having human experiences here, I think that in terms of that upliftment, Sagittarius certainly takes the cake in that department. So I always say it's no coincidence that Halloween and the Day of the Dead is occurring during Scorpio season. 8th house, Scorpio, and death is part of that, Pluto and all that stuff. And the holiday season, which in America begins on Thanksgiving or the day after, Black Friday, and then continues for a month afterwards, is during Sag season. And of course, Capricorn is officially when we have Christmas. But the funny thing about Christmas is by the time Christmas rolls around, it's almost like all over with. I remember last Christmas, sometimes they will just overdo the Christmas music. And then on Christmas Day, they were starting to play, classic rock or so whatever they were playing because they were already finished. And I was like, gosh, the one day that you want to hear it is on Christmas Day. And they've already moved on. So to me, the holiday season almost can end before the actual Christmas Day in terms of all of that more festive stuff. Christmas Day can be very mellow and meditative sometimes, and not necessarily just giddy and hectic, or even Christmas Eve. So in any case, Mercury going into the 6th house on the very first day of the month is really about truth being spread around. Now, for you, this is occurring in that 6th house. So if you are on the job, you might feel this sense of like, I want to tell it like it is, since Mercury is in this house for you. And of course, the timing of these transits will depend on your particular degree of sun or rising. So I always like to say that because otherwise it seems like it's kind of misleading if I don't say that. And it also can be talking to a potential employer. Mercury rules this house because of its connection to Virgo. And this can be about diet and maybe reading about diet, thinking about diet with the health angle, researching health practitioners or what have you, researching health matters. So things of that nature. And then on the 14th, we have a solar eclipse here at 23 degrees of Sag. So a solar eclipse is a powerful new moon. So you could see seeds being planted, is it sown, or is that afterwards? I don't know. By the universe on your behalf, because this is not just your intentional behavior. This is something that we could call destiny occurring. Now, you do have the South Node transiting through this house in Sag as well. So one example of this is that maybe you are trying to improve your health, but please don't take offense at this. Some Cancer individuals, I'll say particularly Cancer sun signs, may be hypochondriacs and you're ultra or excessively concerned about health, where you worry about every little aches and pains that you have. And so if you are trying to gain information about some kind of a health matter, it's, by all means, if you feel that something is going on, I'm not saying that you should just look the other way, but to maybe cultivate a different reaction to it instead of a fear-based one that you think the worst. So if that's your area of greatest anxiety, to kind of work with that, because this area is going to be activated with eclipses in this year, but also in 2021. And you've already had a lunar eclipse here back in June. So were there any kind of health issues that came up for you to notice? Maybe there were, and in that interim, you've been experimenting with different healing modalities and maybe health practitioners, I don't know. But this can give you more opportunities with this solar eclipse, and certainly work opportunities may come your way. On the 15th, which is the very next day, Venus goes into Sagittarius in this house. Venus can be money, so this may even be like a raise in your workplace. And perhaps with the solar eclipse, there could be some kind of a promotion. I didn't even think about that possibility. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so there's an expansive quality with this influence, and perhaps that would be something like some kind of a promotion, and maybe even because Sag can represent travel, maybe you even are traveling from with your company or on behalf of your company. So that can give you new vistas to explore and that sense of expansion. But Venus in particular is about a pleasant environment, so maybe harmony with your coworkers. If you have an office, maybe it's like an upgrade to your office so that you have a nicer office and you feel like more comfortable there. This can be in investing in a high ticket item that has to do with health. I call it the Vitamix transit. Getting some kind of a high priced product that is to enhance your health. On the 17th, Saturn goes into Aquarius, and this is your 8th house, and a couple days later, Jupiter goes into Aquarius in the same area. Now, the 8th house is the house that it's actually a money house, just like the opposite second house. But this is shared resources versus your own resources. And it can also be, gift you get or some kind of insurance payout, something that is not coming from the sweat of your own brow, as they put it. And this could be something that's did I say an inheritance? Because that's what I meant. If you're getting divorced, this could be, you splitting up your property. You get, maybe I don't know about any kind of whatchamacallit, alimony or anything like that, but it could be something that has to do with you and another person. Maybe your partner is getting some kind of raise. So it benefits you, in your own, because you're, with that person. So it's not like apart from you. And that's what Jupiter does. Jupiter brings expansion to this area. And so Saturn being in this house can be about your obligations. So this is the house of debt. And, this may become more acutely aware to you that you have to pay your debt off. If you're trying to take out more loans, or if you're trying to take out another credit card and you get denied and you have to kind of just live within your means, that could be what is going on, because they say that when Saturn is in the 8th house, it's not advised to take on new debt, or you could be blocked. Saturn can be obstruction. But Jupiter is here as well. So if you have debt, it's possible that Jupiter can, you might attract some kind of gift or some source of money that allows you to pay off your debts. And so, but you're going to have what you owe become an issue that comes to your attention, where you have to exert discipline and responsibility when it comes to that. So, like I said, I'm not sure if I've done that yet, but definitely you can check my channel for more information on what these two planets will mean in 2021, being in this 8th house. On the 20th, Mercury goes into Capricorn. So here we have the beginning of this Capricorn energy. this is your seventh house. This is your opposite house. Now, of course, I'm saying this in a general sense. It won't be everybody's opposite house. And Mercury in that seventh house, if you are having some kind of a legal matter, there could be documents to sign or to, peruse. Maybe you're speaking to a lawyer or you're speaking in a courtroom, because of a case. And yeah, I didn't say this, but maybe child custody or, no, I mean, child support might be that, because with shared resources, this can be a big one. If you're raising a child and you feel like you're the one who's paying most of the expenses, plus actually, raising the child primarily, that you expect the other person to chip in, but what if the other person doesn't have the money? So that kind of thing of like going back and forth on that. So there could be some kind of a legal document, a legal case that has to be, you have to communicate on behalf of. It can be something related to a partner. Maybe you have been separated from your partner and not talking to him or her, and now you open the lines of communication. The very next day, the sun goes into this house during the solstice. And this is supposed to be a very magical date because not only is it the time when, in the northern hemisphere, the sun is being reborn and so regaining strength, but also we're looking at Jupiter and Saturn forming a conjunction in Aquarius. Is this the dawning of the age of Aquarius? Get out your love beads. And so the sun goes into the 7th, Jupiter and Saturn go into the 8th. I think also, given the fact that Jupiter did transit this 7th house, and you have Pluto there, and I keep forgetting about that because Pluto is not a trip to the beach in the 7th house. If you have a significant other and you are a Cancer, you know of what I speak. I think maybe, there's always going to be outliers. I'm always, arguing with people who leave comments about this isn't happening to me or, whatever, or this is not part of me. And yes, I do believe in outliers in every, possible sense of the word. In every aspect of life, there are always people who deviate from the norm, but there is such a thing as the norm. And we can make these kinds of generalizations and be, in general, kind of accurate, pretty accurate. And so maybe I haven't talked to a whole bunch of Cancer people, but how has your relationship fared in the last dozen years? Because this is how long Pluto has been in Capricorn. Now, again, for some people, it hasn't been in that 7th house for 12 years thus far. And actually, Pluto is going to be here for another 2+ years in this sector. So it still is making its way through the 7th house. But it's very transformative. But transformation comes at a price. And sometimes that price is complete obliteration. And it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. But, that doesn't mean that you emerge with that other person. But that is only for those relationships that are not meant to, last. Because really, Cancer, you are also changing your concept of relationships and what they mean. And Cancer is a very traditional sign, and it's also emotional, sometimes clingy, sometimes wanting their partner to be their bolster. And you may have to stand on your own 2 feet, and it may be a little bit daunting for certain people who feel emotionally dependent or, on their partner, but it could be the best thing that ever happened to you. For other people, it can simply deepen your relationship. And certainly with Jupiter and Saturn in the 8th house, this is the house of intimacy. So this is going to really be good for people who are seeking a relationship that has great depth. And so sometimes people, maybe when they're raising children, they're very distracted from their partner, and they can kind of gloss over certain things and maybe not delve deep. But eventually you reach that crisis point where you have to really kind of tune into that person. Sometimes it can be something like an illness or a death of a close family member or whatever, or I'm just thinking of life-changing events, maybe the loss of a job, and it rallies. The two people aren't drawn or aren't like pulled apart, but they actually come together. So see what happens at that time of the solstice, because that could be very good for relationships since you have the sun going into this house, and the sun and Mercury. But the sun is that healing energy and very positive energy. On the 29th, you have a full moon in your sign. So there we end the month with a full moon, which is kind of like a coda, an ending, a cap or offer of something. And this is in that first house of the self. Now, for some of you, this will actually be in the 12th house, and that's apropos as well. Later degrees, sun and rising, this may actually fall in your 12th house. And whether it's in your first or your 12th house, it's both transformative to the individual. In the 12th, it may be more of a subconscious or a spiritual influence, maybe being able to let go of bad habits. And certainly, people love to start the new year with New Year's resolutions and things like that. So that isn't the most unusual thing, but it's perfect for you to kind of let go of those habits before the year begins. But even in the first house, you can do the same thing, because the first house can be the body. It can be your mannerisms, your dress, how you dress. Maybe you're going to decide to, like if you're a woman, or I guess a man, it could be a man, and you have long hair, to cut your hair as a symbol of the change that you feel coming through you in, at this time going into 2021. But shedding your skin in some way, and maybe just something ending in your life as a whole. The first house can be just kind of that catch-all house of happenings, for your life. And this would bring something to a culmination. I think even like a retirement could be represented by the full moon in the first house, where your life is like fundamentally changing. But any kind of transition that you have, or transformation. Okay, Cancer, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated and that you have a great month. If you would like a private reading to look at 2021, to look at your natal chart and what that is all about, the cosmic blueprint for this incarnation that you're having, please check out my offerings below to gain more information at the link below. And have a great month. Take care. Bye.